Imagining scanning a brain, turning its wiring into a computer model, and then watching the model control a body. It sounds like science fiction, but recently, a group called Eon claimed they have uploaded a fruit fly. So, does that mean they created a conscious digital fly? Not exactly. The real story is more careful, but still very exciting. The animal in this story is a fruit fly. Fruit flies may look simple, but their brains are surprisingly complex. They can also move, feed, groom themselves, sense the world around them, and respond to danger, just like the human. That is why scientists often use fruit flies in biomedical research. They are small enough to study in detail, but also complex enough to help us understand how nervous systems work. The key idea here is something called a connectome. A connectome is a map of how neurons are connected inside the brain. You can think of it like Google Maps for the brain, but instead of roads and cities, it shows neurons and synapses. Scientists have mapped the adult fruit fly brain in huge detail, with over 100,000 neurons and tens of millions of connections. This really matters because the brain is not just made of cells, it is a network. And the way that the network is wired can help explain behavior. Jung then took this fruit fly brain map and used it to build a computer simulation. Each virtual neuron followed a simple rule. It received signals, built up activity, and when the signal becomes strong enough, it fired. A simple way to imagine this is a bucket filling with water. When the bucket gets full enough, it tips over. In the model, that tipping point is like the neuron firing. But the most important part is that Eon did not just simulate a brain by itself. They connected it to a virtual fly body, so the brain activity could produce movement. That is important because real brains that do not act alone, they control bodies. According to Eon, the simulated system was able to reproduce fruit fly-like behavior with high accuracy. They suggest that a lot of information about the behavior may be hidden in the structure of the brain's connections. In simple terms, if you know how the neurons are wired, you may be able to predict some of what the animals can do. But we need to be careful. This does not prove that scientists have uploaded a fruit fly's mind or consciousness. The model is still simplified, the body is virtual, the neurons are not perfect copies of real biological neurons. Important features like long term learning and memory are still missing. So it is more accurate to say that scientists use a detailed brain wiring map to create a brain inspired simulation that can produce fly like behavior. So, why does this still matter? Because understanding how brain circuits create behavior is one of the biggest questions in neuroscience. In the future, computer models of new nervous system could help scientists that study movement, brain disorders, and how information flows through neuron works. So a fruit fly is not a human, but it gives scientists a simpler system of testing big ideas about brains, bodies, behavior, and disease. And that leaves us with one final question. If we can begin to simulate a tiny fruit fly brain today, that what could this teach us about the human brain tomorrow?